I was just in the drive-thru and the vehicle in front of me was not paying attention and was not moving forward when it was time to, so I gave him a polite little honk. He did not like this, and once he rolled to the window, he proceeded to take as long as he possibly could there. I don't know what he told the baristas, but when I got to the window, he had paid for my drink, and every single person that was working there stood at the window and gave me the stink eye, and when I explained that the man was rude and we didn't do it to be nice, they continued to roll their eyes at me and continue to give me a stink eye. I don't know what kind of etiquette training is being done, but it made me feel terrible. There was no reason to make me feel terrible other than you also feel terrible and thought it was appropriate to make others feel as bad as you. This is disgraceful and I'm embarrassed that that happened. I'm embarrassed. Who changes their staff around to get stink eyes to customers who does that? I cannot believe I was treated with such disrespect and I did not at all do anything to deserve it, and I cannot believe what happened. I will never be returning there, and I almost don't want to ever go to anywhere near it again because of this kind of attitude every last barista had. Every last one of you. It's disgusting and it's embarrassing you think this stuff is okay. That seems like an insanely angry way of saying I honked at somebody that paid for my drink and then looked really stupid in the process. I bet you the reason they were giving you a weird look is because the guy was taking forever because it was probably pretty complicated for him to pay for everybody in line's drink. And the first thing you did when you pulled up was talk about how rude he was. Oh yeah, the guy who just spent a couple $100 buying everybody coffee, he really, really sucks. I'm getting quiet now. Lay low when you reach zone by now. Making out stack the bread. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And I think everybody hates having to deal with Karens, you know, entitled people, anyone that thinks they're better than everybody for no reason. So I figured I would go to the subreddit entitled parents, gather some of the best posts that have been on there, and share them with you guys. We could talk about them. If you enjoy dunking on Karens, be sure to press the like button, and without further ado, let's go. A few years ago, I used to work at a local store in the area as a security officer. Basically, I would stand at the door like a visual deterrent for people who tried to steal since my company is not hands-on. Most of the time, my job was pretty boring. I stood there at the door, nodding and smiling to people, and we didn't have many cases of people actually trying to steal. One day, though, we got a delightful woman who came to the store. I was standing outside when I get a call over my radio to come to one of the registers. I started to walk in, and I can already hear this woman yelling vulgar things at a cashier. The manager sees me walking up and comes to talk to me. Yeah, this woman's gonna be kicked off property, so I need you to stand with her till she decides to leave. Okay, sounds good to me. I walk over and the lady and the manager and they start to talk. Ma'am, we're gonna ask you to leave now as we will not be helping you any longer. You can't deny service to me. I am the customer. I'm always right. No, ma'am, we actually do have the right to refuse service to anyone. There's even a sign on the door. I refuse to move till you ring up my items. The manager just shrugged at me and started moving the cashier to another register and closed the line Karen was standing in, and the Karen kept screaming vulgar things at the poor cashier. The Karen looks around the store for someone to agree with her, and thankfully no one's on her side and most people are avoiding eye contact with her. She looks back at me and starts trying to get me to agree with her, and I remain silent and she starts banging on the counter. Is no one really going to help me? No, ma'am, they've asked you to leave. No, they can't do that. This is a public building. Actually, this is a private building, and they have every legal right to refuse service to anyone for any reason. They don't even legally have to tell you why they are kicking you out. I also have to inform you that you will be blacklisted from all their properties they own, so you will no longer be able to shop here anymore. I will sue you! Ma'am, although I might be working here, I personally do not work for the business. I work for XYZ business, and I have no say over any policy, so suing me is going to get you nowhere. I want your manager's name and number. Of course, ma'am, and I gave her all the information she asked for, plus my ID number and name. Karen takes my information and says, I'm gonna get you fired for refusing service to me. Okay, ma'am. After about 30 minutes of standing there listening to her yelling for the manager to come back, alright, we called the cops and they're gonna be here shortly to remove you. You will all regret this. I love Karens like this because, you know, she's proudly standing here screaming about how she's gonna sue everyone. I'm just saying lawsuits are expensive, and I feel like people that actually have the money to be tossing around lawsuits all willy-nilly also don't have the free time to be standing there for an hour after they've been kicked out just screaming at nobody. Like, literally, they closed the line and walked the other way, and she still stayed in the store for an hour? My goodness, dude, you've gotta be a loser to have the ability to just stay that mad for an hour over like a pair of jeans. I mean, come on, you think at some point they'd just get tired of it, their voice would give out. That means they'd have to be doing screaming at managers quite often to get this endurance up. I love when she looks around for other people to help them out, dude. That's a Karen classic as well. And just to throw this out there, nobody wants to get involved with you screaming at some poor cashier, all right? Nobody's gonna back you up because you're not in the right. I'm a partially sighted guy, but I try not to use my stick as I want to keep my independence for as long as possible. However, one look at my eyes and you can see the damage to them. Because of this, I often sit in the priority seating just so I can get out of the door easily and close enough to see the train door. I currently live in Japan and the train system is really easy to use, and I appreciate the way Japan supports people in my position by having such seating. So a few years ago, I'm sat in my seat when this old Japanese Karen comes up and just stabs me in the chest with her stick. She shouts at me saying I shouldn't be sitting there and that foreigners have no respect. I lifted my head and looked at her in the eyes wide open so she could see my red, scarred eyes. Her reaction? She just stabbed me in the chest again with her stick. And at this point, the person sat across, leaves the cartridge, and walked towards another one. A seat is now available, and I point to it. No reaction. I say again and gesture with my hand, and she smashes me in the chest for a third time, actually winding me. The train stops, and I decide to get off in the next train, and get on the next train because I don't want to deal with this woman. However, I notice 2 police entering the train, and the man who got off his seat comes back in and points at the woman. And the police end up dragging her off. We have a quick chat, and the man had apparently raised the alarm somehow with the driver and had the police on standby. I gave a quick statement to police and was allowed on my way. I'm not sure what happened to Karen, but I was very pleased to have someone stand up for me. Thank you, kind sir. Oh, this is a next level Karen, dude. Okay, imagine you get on the bus, somebody's sitting in priority seating. You can ask them to move, that's fair enough. She just automatically jumps to smacking you with a stick. But on top of that, if that person then looks at you and you can see that they're partially sighted and obviously have a reason to be sitting there, you don't proceed to smack them with the stick again. The normal human reaction to asking somebody to move from priority seating and then finding out that they have a right to sit there should be embarrassment, apologizing. Yeah, you're really showing everybody a lesson. Smacking blind people with sticks. You're really out here showing everybody not to mess with you. Hi, I work at Dairy Queen, hopefully not for much longer, and we get a lot of old Karens that drive through, but this guy was special. I had just come in from my lunch break yesterday at 3:50 p.m. and I put on the headset. It was me and 3 shift managers working, and one of them was taking an order. Cue a male Karen, and this was the conversation I came back to hear. I want my fries and cheese curds not greasy, lady. Sure, we can't control how greasy they come out because they're being cooked in our deep fryer. I'm a certified chef. I know how to cook, and I know that they will only get greasy if you cook them in cold oil. Now you can make them how I want you to, or I can get my money back. He hasn't even paid yet, let alone ordered. Sir, our fryers temp at 350 degrees. We don't and can't cook your food in oil any colder. Listen, lady, you can take your fries and shove it, because I'll take my money elsewhere and will never shop here again. Okay, have a blessed day. Dude, I just love this because what do you want the minimum wage Dairy Queen workers to do? Do you think they really care if you never eat at Dairy Queen again? Oh no, please come back and order our cheese curds, please. Like, they don't care. And on top of that, if you're Mr. Certified Chef making the greatest cheese curds to ever exist, then you should also know that ordering anything from fast food usually leads to it being fried in oil, I'm just saying, if you're a certified chef trying to roll around and eat 5-star cuisine, maybe anything with a drive-thru is not the best option. I love me some Dairy Queen cheese curds, alright, but I don't go in there and order cheese curds expecting like a 5-star meal. I'm aware of the fact that I'm getting mass-fried cheese curds that are just in some deep fryer in the back. Like, oh, I'm a certified chef. Well, good for you. The guy that we have flipping burgers in the back is not, so I don't know what you want him to do about it. So first, some needed context. I'm a patient screener at my local hospital. One of the people at the entrance who asks a handful of annoying questions and makes sure no one's with a fever or COVID enters the hospital. It's genuinely a low-stress job, and I love it. Very little work and good pay when compared to what I actually do. And it's all been pretty damn smooth until a little under an hour ago. The way the temp setup works is there are 2 scanners surveying the corridor, one by the main entrance to the little hall and one behind me at the other end. The scanners display the full hall and have a cursor that follows more or one people who come down the hall to get their temperature. When too many people come through, the sensor freaks out and focuses on one person and gives no temperatures for anyone else. I'm the only patient screener on my shift, so if I go to the bathroom or take lunch, the desk is empty. So when I came back to my desk to resume working after eating my lunch and just disinfecting myself a little, there's a group of women at the other end of the hall talking. 2 of the 4 of them are in direct alignment with the centers and standing directly in front of the door. For a while, there was no issue, no one coming through the doors, and they weren't really doing much but being a little loud. After about 20 minutes, a rush of visitors, healthcare workers, and patients started coming through, and the 2 women wouldn't move out of the way of the door, and the temp scanner started doing its freakout thing. So when everyone had passed through and the 5 of us were alone, I said to the 2, "Hey, can you move out of the way of the door? People aren't able to get through, and having you by the sensors is messing with me getting their temperatures." The main woman, I guess, I don't know, tried to make excuses saying the room was hot and that's what's messing with the scanners, so why are we telling them to move, and a bunch of other excuses. I only just asked them to move a little bit off to the side. The hall is small and there was more than enough space to just move out of the way and not be picked up by the sensors or be in front of the door. Apparently that was a little bit too much for her. Go back to your little desk, leave us alone, and I'm not moving. Were pretty much the only thing said by her in increasing tone and an apparent I'm gonna hit you posture. After a few minutes of that, I just said get out or I'll call security. So they left to go into the ER on the other side of the entrance door. After 10 minutes, they passed through again with the same lady staring at me as I'm going through questions with a visitor. And about 15 minutes after that, they passed back through again towards the ER once more, and this time she maintained eye contact the entire time. I know it's fairly normal for Karens to lose it over anything, but a door? Really? I always thought that level of Karenicity was pettiness and borderline, or a level of Karenicity and pettiness was borderline impossible. That's a good one, Karenness. They really had a whole hospital to go stand in, and they picked right in front of the temperature sensor that blocks a door. At that point, it's either a lack of self-awareness that's so severe that, you've got to tell them, or they're doing it on purpose, and which one of those is worse? Go back to your little desk. Dude, I'm just asking you to please move out of the way so when I go back to my little desk, I can actually do my job, alright? I also love how they tried to blame the room being hot for why it wasn't working. Like, no, the human body is usually about 98 degrees temperature-wise. I'm sure that standing 2 inches away is nothing compared to the room being a balmy 76. Like, come on, even if the room is 80 degrees, it's not even the same thing as having a person stand right in front of it. Did you go to medical school, Karen? Did you design the temperature machine? That's what I thought. I don't think so. There's nothing wrong with not being an expert. That's what Karens don't get, dude. Like, listen, if I was at the hospital and someone told me I was messing with a sensor, I would just trust them, because I don't work in a hospital. Why the hell would I know how any of this stuff works? I arrive at work about an hour after our doors open and notice a fleet vehicle in front of the building for a company that I will refer to as Bad Customer. The employee of Bad Customer is in the lobby and is visibly agitated talking to the 2 employees that work for my company. Sue and Bob are both very good at their jobs, very smart and competent people who I trust. I have a very low tolerance for customers being rude to my staff. Their jobs are hard enough as it is, and they don't need rude customers making their day worse. So Jerkface is saying things like, "This is ridiculous, why don't you know how to do your job, blah, 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 blah." And Sue is definitely flustered and on the phone with our corporate office, and Bob is trying to help another customer. I stand by Sue to try and gather the details while she talks to corporate and see what needs to happen and what I can do to help. It turns out that Bad Customer had falsely claimed to have a corporate account with our company, and Jerkface was demanding to receive our product and service without payment and that we should send them an invoice to be paid later. Sue verifies that no such account exists and that we require payment up front to do business with Bad Customer. This upsets Jerkface very, very much, and he starts making phone calls to people in his company and is very loudly, deliberately making a scene that is disturbing other customers. As I approach him, he is discussing how ridiculous this is and how long they've been in business and how much money they spend, not an impressive amount, and false as well, and how they will take their business elsewhere. He stopped his conversation and put his phone on speaker as I walked up and holds out the phone like I'm gonna take it and talk to his boss. I looked him dead in the eye and told him to pay up front now or get out. Pure shock on his face as he stammers out, "Well, that's not very user-friendly." He said he didn't have a corporate credit card. Guess what? Not our problem. Don't care. Pay up or hit the bricks, pal. His boss ended up giving us their corporate card over the phone, and he goes on his way, grumbling on his way out of the door. You would think that would have been enough to end the story, right? Nope. Jerkface decided to call our corporate office to complain about a rogue manager that was completely unprofessional. Now the folks he called at corporate are working at a call center, and none of them have the power to resolve the complaint. They turn those things over to managers such as myself, since we have the authority to fix it. Any real complaints anyone could have here go through me. Since he was intending to lodge a complaint about a manager, he correctly asked to be connected with my manager. But as luck was have it, I was the only one involved in this situation because the manager that works for me was on vacation and I was there to run his part of the business while he was away. So being the next manager up in the chain, the phone call comes to me, and I quickly realized I was talking to Jerkface again, and he realized he was talking to me as I explained to him for the second time, we won't be doing business with bad customer without payment up front, and he hung up before I could finish my sentence. Dude, this is arguably the stupidest one of the entire video because this is how this went down. This guy walked into this business, you need to do this work and charge my corporate account, and we have a corporate account, so charge it. I'm not paying right now. You guys are ridiculous. The lady looks it up. They don't have a corporate account. There's nothing to charge, right? So if I can't charge your corporate account, then I need money up front because otherwise you're gonna leave and like there's no way for me to get my money. And he just keeps demanding that they charge an account that doesn't exist. Like, what do you want them to do, bro? Harry Potter flick of the wrist, make it exist? I don't necessarily think that's how corporate accounts work, dude. The most embarrassing part is him having a loud phone call in the lobby with the other customers. We spend so much money here, only for it to be like not a lot of money. $10,000 is a crap ton of money, you know, but it's not a lot of money if you're buying like fleet vehicles, you know, if you're buying 30 trucks at a time, 10 grand isn't a lot. I bet you nothing in the world felt better when this guy called corporate expecting to, you know, get this manager in trouble, maybe even get him fired. Who knows what he was going for here, only to get redirected right back to his phone. I told you, I am the manager. You like feel him shaking from the other side of the phone. So my younger brother, who is 12, got an Xbox Series S as a gift from my mom this Christmas, and he was so happy and thanked my mom profusely. My cousin, who's 10, walked over and tried to take the Xbox away from my brother, and my mom told my cousin that this was my brother's gift, not his. And he responded with, "Mommy, can I have it?" And my mom pulled the cousin back away from my brother in the least violent way. And my aunt said, "How dare you touch my child?" My mom said, well, he was trying to take my kid's gift. And after a bit of bickering, my granddad, who is known for his short temper, ended up just leaving and going and went to his and my grandma's. My mom said that my aunt should learn how to discipline her kid, and my aunt said that my mom should stop raising an entitled brat. And my grandma ended kicking up both of them out until they calmed down, and they stayed in their cars on the driveway for the rest of the party and left. To this day, they still fight about the incident. This story is one of the hundreds of others I have. Should I post another one? Yeah, I mean, absolutely, dude. If this is just a normal run-of-the-mill family reunion for you, then my goodness, I don't think a Reddit thread's enough. We need like a reality show. This is the type of drama I've been missing. For real though, imagine being a little kid who had like just gotten an Xbox and then all of a sudden your cousin comes over and starts trying to take it. Nah, I would have expected my mom to get involved too, bro. This is my Xbox. If your parents loved you, they would have given you one. That was obviously a joke, but you know, I have a very spoiled cousin who was doing similar stuff, so my patience for it's pretty out at this point. Anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. I just thought this collection of Karen stories would keep you guys entertained. If you did enjoy it and you want me to do more of them, be sure to let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. And of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on those notifications. If you want to be an absolute G, I'm gonna go ahead and put a link to the intro song down in the description down below. Feel free to go check that out along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast. And if you want to be really awesome, you can use code Scrubby at the G Fuel checkout to get a discount on G Fuel. Help yourself and get a great energy drink at the same time, so feel free to do it. And the last link that you're going to find down in the description is going to be a link to my merch store, so if you want to go get the coolest merch to ever exist, be sure to go do it. But on that note, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.